All right, welcome back to another episode of Through the Roof, a consumer-focused podcast where we talk about all things residential metal roofing, metal siding, post frame. I feel like the intro gets longer every time we do it.
Well, we got a lot of good things to talk about.
Yeah, we keep adding stuff to it, and I guess it's all things S5 clamps as well, because we have a special guest with us today.
Yeah, we've got Sean Haddock with S5. And Sean, thanks for joining us today and spending a little bit of time talking about some of the products that you guys are bringing to the market. And we're excited to talk about how your products are going to be applicable to a lot of our customers and their metal roofing applications.
You bet. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So where are you at right now, Sean?
Right now, I'm sitting in a hotel room in San Antonio, Texas, getting ready to go to MBMA safety training meetings.
Nice. What's the weather like in Texas right now?
It's about 100 degrees. So it's actually a nice cool down because it's been about 115. So it's pretty comfortable right now.
It makes it feel not quite so bad here in Tennessee.
No doubt about it. Yeah, we've got some high 70s that have hit us the past week or so, and that's been right where I like it. So I don't envy you for dealing with that. But so let's talk about S5. Sean, give us just the quick high level overview of how S5 got started and how they got to what they're doing today.
So S5 was started by my father, Rob Haddock, over 30 years ago now. And it started with snow retention systems. He was a contractor and he was installing roofs and solar and snow retention systems for his customers. And the one pet peeve he had was the callbacks and having to go back and replace snow guards that had come off the roof. And so he invented a clamp that would attach to the seam, and it would squeeze the seam but wouldn't put any holes in the seam, because the magic of a standing seam roof is there are no holes in it. So he did this without causing any weather tightness problems and keeping warranties intact, and did a lot of load testing. And I remember as a kid, he would come to me and say, "I need your help. We've got to get this torque wrench, and we've got to tighten these clamps down onto this bar, and then we're going to put them in the freezer, and then we're going to check them, and then we're going to put them in the oven, and then we're going to check them." And we did all that kind of stuff. And so as a kid, I went through all this and testing different things on our house to see what was going to work and what wasn't going to work. And here we are 30 years later and have a ton of solutions out there.
I take it the research and development process has changed a little bit from then to now.
A little bit, yeah. We have a whole team of them now.
Yeah, that's fun. We always like to kind of hear, origin stories, and as a startup ourselves, it's really nice to, hear that there other people had to go through their own processes to develop into who they are now, and that's kind of the path that we're on. And what are some of the things? I know you were talking about the through fasten or the standing seam system, and coming up with a solution for that. What did the transition look like going from being a snow retention or roof installer, whatever that was, to being a full-time clamp and seller and manufacturer and distributor?
So, when we first got started, we found some distributors that would take it on and sell it for us, because what we didn't want to do was try to go sell it to everybody ourselves. It was, at that time, I say ourselves, it was Dad. He was a one-man show. Us kids were just free labor in the background or cheap labor. and we would package products and stuff like that. So he quickly found distributors who would get behind his product and sell it. And that's kind of how we entered the market. And snow retention, of course, was the easiest market to hit. And so that's what he started with, knowing full well that the clamps could be used to attach satellite dishes and solar panels and lightning rods and HVAC units, you name it. And the clamp was the easy start because it was commercial, it was larger distribution, and easier to get those kind of guys on board because he already was in the industry and pretty recognized in the industry at the time. And then I came on board, I don't know, about 22, 23 years ago. And I told him, I said, we've got these people calling that they want to put this stuff on their houses or their barns, or they've got through fasten panels, and we really don't have a solution for that. And at that point in time, our distributor had kind of a solution for that they were making, and it was when we decided, all right, it's time to start looking at the through fasten market. And that's when we came out with the Versa bracket. The Versa bracket is a Z-shaped bracket. It's got butyl sealant in the bottom of it, with 3 holes that allows you to attach into a purlin or a wood deck through the roof itself. Still keeping the same fasteners that attach your roof to its structure, and so it was a win-win there. And it gives you that same attachment as a clamp. You've got a where you don't have a threaded hole now, but you have a through bolt connection. So you could use it with our snow retention systems. You could use it with other products out there if you were attaching solar or whatever it may be.
So the through fasten system's been around for, you said 20 years, 15, 20 years?
Yeah. Probably.
Wow. And I find that kind of interesting.
Right. It's been around for about 20 years. But it wasn't something we pushed real heavily. And really it's been around longer than that, because our distributor at the time had been selling it for probably 5 years, only it was a little different solution that worked with our products. So
yeah, that's interesting, because I've been in the industry for a long time, and I've known about the standing seam, the clamp system, and that's something that we've utilized quite a bit. But I will admit that the through fasten system, and we've recently had customers interacting with us for some of our post frame buildings, and we're starting to see snow retention and even some solar options on the post frame kits that we've been selling. But I've not had a whole lot of experience with the through fasten S5 products up until this point. So I'm excited to hear that they've been on the market and they've got some testing behind them, and it's something that we should be able to pass along to our customers.
Sure.
Learning something new every day.
Yeah, I mean, I've known of S5 ever since I started in the industry. It's kind of like synonymous with attaching things to your metal roof. At what point did you guys kind of realize, holy cow, this is a major market, and everybody needs this if they're going to attach something to their metal roof?
I would say we knew it was a major market back in the early days. The reason, when you're starting a company and growing a company, you got to go for the lowest hanging fruit. And the through fasten market at that time and today, I mean, it's a huge market, but it's also one that's a little harder to get to. You've got the residential market, and what we didn't want to do was go out with, hey, put snow retention on your house on TV commercials, because we were an army of two, and we couldn't handle that. So, and we had a product that we thought was okay, but we really wanted to evolve that product, and really within the last, 5 years, we've really made a push to go more through fastened and reach more markets with it, whether it be domestically or internationally. As you start going internationally, you still have a very large market of through fastened, and so we've tailored products over the last 10, 15 years. We constantly evolve our products, as you know, at S5, and we've come out with a full line of what we call rib brackets that attach, that they're made for the specific trapezoidal shapes. And there's a little bit of adjustment in them, so they'll stretch, or you can squeeze them to fit the profile. Along with, we have a Protea bracket now it's adjustable to fit all those different profiles. It's specifically for attaching solar, as well as most of the rib brackets. But the rib brackets can also be used for your utility type attachments. And they attach in the sheeting only, so you're not tied to having to find a structural member below the roof, and that's what's magic about those products. And of course,
that's actually something that we ran into recently is is actually having some type of frame or structure to attach the brackets to, because on the post frame buildings, we've got the steel trusses, we've got the purlins that are spaced 2 feet apart, but the alignment of the solar brackets don't always perfectly coordinate with the alignment of the purlins. So being able to have a bracket that is relying on the structure of the panel and the panel rib itself, I think specifically where the panel ribs overlap creates the most secure hold. It was really interesting to learn that option was available for our post frame customers.
Yeah, and a big reason why we wanted to make sure we could do that is with our PV kit, which I'm sure you're aware of. It allows you to attach solar without the use of a rail. So you're using the metal roof as your rail. Well, in doing so, you're limited to the width of that module and where you've got to put your brackets. So by being able to attach anywhere along the profile is a real, you have to have it.
Yeah.
In addition,
we take for granted that everybody knows what we're talking about right now, but some people don't know who S5 is and don't even know what's going on right now. So Sean, give like the elevator pitch. Somebody owns a metal roof and they need to put something on it. How does S5 solve that problem?
The way we solve that problem is one by determining what roof you have. I mean, a lot of people just say, I have a metal roof. So you've got to determine, is it through fastened? Is it standing seam? And then you look at what are they trying to attach? And really, we have a solution for just about anything they're trying to attach. We attach, like I mentioned, we attach solar panels, snow guards to keep the snow from crashing off your roof in snow country. People have used it for putting up their lightning rods and cables, as well as satellite dishes. We just came out with a dish kit that uses 2 pieces of rail, and then it attaches on a through fastened roof right into the top of the rib, and on a standing seam, of course, to one of our clamps. And that system, we put a video out there for Starlink and attaching your Starlink, and that has been the most popular video we ever made.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
So basically, if you have a need to attach something to your roof, we can do it. And sometimes the best thing, whether it's browsing our website or just picking up the phone and calling our support team, they're there to help you. We have all the engineering behind it. We can make sure that whatever you want to put on your roof is backed with engineering and testing to know that it's going to stay there. While we don't specifically do the engineering, we have the tools to make all that engineering, all of that math available to an engineer. So all the numbers,
and I'm sure that there are some standard criteria. I mean, every roof might be a little bit different, but standing seam, whether it's a clip system or whether it's a snap and lock system, and the through fasten systems, they're a little bit different. Every roof layout's a little bit different, but they're not that different in terms of total complexity. So the testing that you guys have done, you should really have pretty similar results on most applications, right? Because especially in the residential space, you're typically talking about lighter weight products, maybe some snow retention, some solar, the satellite kits, which are really cool. I hadn't thought about that. We actually had a contractor last night who posted that they saw the Starlink satellite flying through the air. So it's interesting to hear, that you guys have a video to highlight that product. But what are some other applications, either residential or commercial, that you really have seen a lot of traction or see a lot of opportunities that maybe our customers haven't thought about?
A lot of people are trending towards mini split systems now, because you can go buy a mini split air conditioning system at Home Depot and Lowe's, and they've made them so that homeowners can install them. And we actually have a kit to attach those to your roof. It utilizes some of the same components as the dish kit, but it's got rubber dampening feet so that you don't have the vibration going into the roof, as well as it helps you level it. Other things would be, running any kind of wires across your roof. We have what we call a conduit, which attaches to our brackets or clamps, and it's basically a pipe clamp, so that you can directly attach a pipe clamp to our brackets and clamps. What else?
Installation of these of the various different components you've got. Is this something that a construction savvy homeowner can do themselves?
Absolutely. They're really pretty simple, and we include instructions in the boxes on the basic attachments of them. I mean, we don't go into all the details. If you're doing something that, you're attaching a rail or something to our product and then something else, I mean, we don't necessarily know all what you're going to do, but yeah, for the most part, it's pretty self-explanatory and intuitive. All of our installation instructions are also on the web and through a QR code on the boxes of packaging. Pretty straightforward stuff. They use common tools of the trade. I mean, when we developed S5, some of the key things were that it installed with common roofer type tools, and second, that it was at a price point that was the most cost effective solution. And also, we strive to have the best solution. So we try to achieve those three things. And most people say you can't achieve all of them, but I think with S5, we've come real close to doing so, if not accomplish that mission.
Yeah, and you guys certainly have a reputation, and again, being in the industry for the last 15 years, S5 is one of those companies that always has kind of stood out to me as being great quality providers. I mean, quality is probably the first word that I think of when talking about S5 or thinking about S5, but also just kind of seeing the family business and like the goodwill that you have towards your team and to your customers. I mean, you guys do a really good job being a clean, professional, quality company while still being very like human, and that's something that we really have come to appreciate. And this is really our first interaction, with S5 and with you, Sean. But just to kind of maybe speak to how much we've appreciated observing your company and observing how you guys go to the market. I mean, that's really something that we aspire to do is to offer great quality, but also to be really genuine and to be really kind to people. And like that's really the experience that we've had, even with just some of your social presence that you guys put out there. So kind of kudos to you guys and the standard that you set in our industry, because I think it's so important that companies operate the right way.
Thank you, and that's great to hear. I mean, that's while that's an important part, that's who we are. It's not like we put on a facade to be that way. I mean, our goal is really to help our customers do things better, to not ruin their roof, to not have problems on the roof. I mean, I go out in the field and work with contractors for the last 10 years so that I can better learn what they're doing, so I can teach them how to use our products better. We constantly strive to do that, and in our mission statement, it's always been to grow metal roofing through making it easier, not to sell S5 products, but we want to help the industry in general. And that's always kind of been our mission and our goals. So
that's awesome, man. Well, we're coming up on the 20-minute mark here, Sean. I've got one final question, a hard hitter here. How many times back in the early days did mom or somebody go to cook dinner and there was a product in the oven that you guys were doing R&D on?
Probably quite a few. And there was a lot of nights where we were sitting in front of the TV watching our cartoons or whatever, packing boxes of widgets is what we call it. Dad's widgets.
Okay. That's funny, man. That's a fun childhood memory to remember, kind of helping build the great organization that you guys have got today. I appreciate you sharing that story with us.
You bet. It's been 30 years of learning business.
Well, we won't keep you all night, man. We'll wrap this episode up. But again, we really appreciate you coming on and talking about S5 and some of the solutions that you guys can provide. And here at True Metal Supply, we resonate with the mission that Sean and S5 have. Metal Roofing Made It Easy is on our wall back here, and we're a big fan of the products that S5 makes, and you can come to True Metal Supply and we'll help you kind of figure out solutions for your roof. Obviously, we manufacture the panels here, and we've worked with some S5 products on a lot of recent projects, and our customers are really happy to see how compatible S5 products are with the stuff that we make here at True Metal Supply. So go to truemetalsupply.com or check out S5's website. I've been on their website a million times over the years, and they have a ton of great resources. So check out their stuff as well. Thank you again, Sean, and hopefully we'll connect with you maybe at an industry trade show pretty soon.
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
All right, we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks.